I hear all he ever does is the Scissorman live stream. That's it. That's all he ever does. He ain't never done nothing. He ain't never gonna do nothing. He ain't never gonna be nothing because his Scissorman streams are the only ones that he does when he does what he does when he does it. And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and it is a Friday night. What in the heck am I doing? Wormy says, "Oh man, how goes it?" Everybody's starting to hop on and check out the stream. Last time I had a stream, I had a bit of an issue with the connectivity to YouTube, and somebody had suggested that it might be a video card issue. And so I actually went in and checked out my video card. I have got one of the best video cards on the planet, and it's actually showing up to date and everything. So it could potentially be a settings thing, but I've gone in and checked it all out. I think we're going to be okay today. We're going to see, but there is so much that has been happening, and I haven't had a chance to jump on and have a chat with you guys. So I am going to hop on here. Darth Baca says, "Hey, what's up?" Doc Diggler, what's up? Sandcrawler, what's going on? Force Canada, represent, what's going on? And what I want to do is I want to sit down and I want to have a drink with you guys. Now, if you're not 21 or whatever respective age you have to be in your place, you're going to have to make yours non-alcoholic. But I am going to enjoy some Jura Superstition. Jura is a single malt scotch. It is delicious. And I'd normally give myself 2 fingers, but, 2 fingers of scotch. But I think we're just going to do the rest. It basically looks like 2 fingers of scotch if you go this way, vertical with it. So let's go ahead and set that to the side. Let me have a little bit really quick. That is some good stuff. Stout. Woo! All right. Giggity, giggity, goo. All right. Okay. So a lot of stuff has happened to the, over here to my left, your guys is right. Is a bunch of information. We're going to go over it really quick, but I want to go over first the GameChanger program. I know a lot of people that has saw Arnold's video, and there's a bunch of stuff, and Arnold kind of has a special take on it because, well, he's got way more stuff going with this whole situation than any of us did. Basically, the way it works is EA has a GameChanger program. And then under that umbrella, there's a bunch of developers who can take advantage of it. They have a marketing department. They have a GameChanger program department. They've got, PR. They've got HR. They got a bunch of different resources for all of these companies that are making games, that are developing these games. And that is a program that they could take advantage of. Think of it like a benefit at work. And it was a benefit that's supposed to benefit the games. And most games take advantage of their GameChanger programs. Makes sense, right? It's kind of like, free publicity, free advertising for your game. You got a bunch of YouTubers that you become friends with, and they, share your content and information. The problem is that it's an EA program. It is not a Capital Games program, and EA has their own, they have their own NDAs, their own contracts, their own stipulations, their own control, and they put their own person inside of your development team. And you kind of have to play by their rules. And I think that's for the betterment of all game changers in the world, because I think that creates consistency for all EA games that are out there. So basically, bottom line, what it comes down to is there's been a little friction in the past from time to time. We don't always make them happy. They don't always make us happy. There's been a couple of videos that are debatable out there. If you guys are wondering which video was really the thing that sparked this whole thing, it was a meme review by Arnold. Meme reviews are actually funny. It was when Yoda spreads the buffs, and there's this kind of sound like a porno and a woman's face where she's spreading her legs kind of thing. And the idea was, it's funny, haha, it's how you feel when you spread the buffs to your whole team. You get the gist, right? Well, it was PG-13, I think, but it doesn't sit well with Disney. And so what happens is basically it started to create some friction, and they basically shut the program down. And the individual that worked from EA ended up getting reassigned or something else. I don't know. But long story short, this is not actually news. This has been this way for a ridiculously long time. For nearly almost a year, we haven't had a Game Changer program, which is fine. I have always in the past, currently do, and always will in the future, give you guys my personal opinion, my thoughts, my commentary. Sometimes I joke around a little too much with the capital games, and sometimes I have to kind of, apologize from here, time to time for being a bit of a jerk at times, but that's rare. I'm a pretty good cat, and I am a straight shooter. I like to do the Worth It series and things like that. Now, I'm excited to be able to do a video tonight because, honest to God, I haven't really had a whole lot of time in my life, but my whole family is gone tonight. That's right. So you guys are my family tonight, so I'm pretty excited to hang out with you guys. So just so you know, that's it. The Capital Games has just decided not to participate in that benefit. Or that AKA that program from EA. That's it. And they haven't been for almost a year. And it's not a big deal. We've been talking to them for the last, year. And they have a beta program that they have other people in the community in, that not game changers, not the YouTubers, just people that play the game from all walks of life. They have that beta program, and they like that. It gives them good feedback. It gives certain people early access, and they're going to keep doing that. And then they're going to include us in that beta. So that's exciting. I think that that's fine. And if you're interested in beta, I do believe there's some information on the forums about how to become like a beta tester and things like that. Now, that's kind of the quick thing on the Game Changers program. They did put out a like an update on the program, their official announcement, and it just says that after they talked with us, they wanted to discontinue the program. It was amicable, like I said. We didn't care. They just wanted it to not look bad in the eyes of the community. So I wouldn't take it as a bad thing. I think this is good. It says that we agreed collectively this is the best way to ensure independent analysis. It's always been independent analysis, so I don't really like that that verbiage or wording that makes it sound like that we were shills in the past. But I wouldn't make BB-8's emoji a poop emoji if I thought that it was going to offend them. If you guys know anything about that, when BB-8 came out, his little emoji above his head looks like a little turd emoji. I'm sorry, but it does. And when I brought that video out, I put a little turd emoji in the place of the BB-8 Illuminated Destiny thingy, the little potency buff he gives, and it was hilarious. Well, anyway, they didn't take it like that. The art team got kind of offended, and I guess I get it. Somebody spent a lot of time making the art for the game, so I hurt someone's feelings. But if I was not independent, I wouldn't do things like that. They wouldn't allow those kinds of things to happen. My Worth It series wouldn't exist either if I wasn't able to be independent and tell you guys, don't buy that, or do. So anyway, this is their statements. If you guys want to go read it, that's cool. Not going to go read it word for word, but that's just their official announcement. There's a bunch of new things happening. There's going to be some more kit changes. So in that, they're going to be changing GeoSpy, kind of like they did with HK47. Let me jump into the questions really quick, because if you have any questions, you guys can hit me up. I just want to try and catch myself up really quick. That's more like a fist Robert is talking about. So in Scotch, when you're drinking Scotch or any kind of, whiskey, single malt type thing, when you go up and ask for some, they'll pour it and they'll ask you, would you like, how many fingers would you like there? Most of the time people do 2 fingers, and that's the amount that they're pouring. It's kind of a height thing. And so he's joking and saying it's about the size of a fist. So there's that, but it's a Friday night, so I am permitted to have this. All right. So let's see. On double drops, you got 14 Canderous shards. Very cool, John. Wesley says, greetings from Long Island. What is up? Let's see. I'm surprised they didn't disclose the Game Changer program sooner. Yeah, Darth Baca, I have no idea. We have not been a thing for a while, so I don't know why they kind of drug it on. A Mobile Gamer made a video earlier. Did he mention the BB-8 thing? That's hilarious. So that's pretty funny. See, CG didn't like your BB-8 video. No, they said it offended the artist who made that emoji, apparently. And so out of respect for them, they didn't ask me to pull my video. Out of respect for the artist, I felt bad that the guy made this thing and then I was making fun of it. kind of poking fun at it just for fun. Well, anyway, I hurt the guy's feelings or the lady's feelings. I don't know, whoever the artist was. So I went in and I edited that piece out, just that piece out, because I didn't want to be a jerk. And, this relationship goes two ways, with developers. You try to be amicable with them and they try to be amicable with you. Obviously, I say a lot of things they don't like at times, and things can get heated. And so we want to make sure that we try our best anyway. Let's see what other questions. Dark Stanley says, things went south when Arnold and Mobile Gamer did that video where people were dying and committing suicide. Wow, I don't even know about that video, but yeah, that would definitely be an issue for sure. So that's pretty funny. Not really. Master KT, this is definitely good for you guys. At least you won't have to deal with people calling you shills. No, they're always going to call you shills. I don't really care. That's just people or trolls. You know what I'm saying? Trolls are fun. You can play with them, and you can put them back under the bridge when you're done with them. So apropos, just ask, is there any kind of new freedoms without having the program? No, everything's literally exactly the same. Billy Gunn asks, am I going back to MSF content? No, because honest to God, I did actually start playing that game and I was covering it. And some of my best viewed videos are from that video or from that game. And I loved the game. The problem is the game, the raids that you do, where you pick a lane and you like fight your way through the lane. They started to do those every 2 hours. I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? Every 2 hours? I can't play for a half an hour every 2 hours. Like, what were they thinking? Now, I heard that MSF has gotten better, that they're not doing it every 2 hours. I don't know. Anyway, I let it go. My account fell to the wayside. I could not play. Are you guys kidding me? I can hardly make a freaking video, let alone play a game every 2 hours. MSF, the reason why I stopped playing that was because of their own fault. They made too much engagement throughout the day for that. All right, I'm just looking. Let's see. Big Perm says, Warrior did a shot. No, it's not a shot. It's Scotch, single malt. It's Jura, and I'm just casually sipping, my friend. All right. That artist needs to get some thicker skin. Yeah, on the BB-8 situation, for sure. What happened with the BB-8 video, Callow? It was just, it was a good video. It's actually still up. If you go watch my BB-8 video, it's still up. It was my review of BB-8. The only thing is when you first look at the little emoji above BB-8, the little like buff that he puts over everyone's head that gives people potency and stuff, it looks like a turd. I'm sorry. If you go look at it, it looks like a turd emoji. Go look at it. It will change your life, and you'll always look at it and you'll laugh and you'll go, damn, that Warrior, he freaking made me think that. Now I'm going to think that every time I look at that. So let's see. Man, there's the questions are coming in hot and furious. That was funny. Question, Disney overall, good or bad for Star Wars? My thoughts have been good. All in all, I think Disney's done an okay job. I think it's more about, for the movies and stuff, I think it's more about who they're picking to run those movies is more of an issue. And then another person saying, no way the GameChanger program is done. I had no idea. I haven't seen the 10 other content creators post today. Oh my gosh, we got a troll. Dark Stanley says he's not the only one sipping scotch. That's good. All right. Hey, you can't drink your paid GameChanger. Yeah, I know, right? You can't drink. All right. Okay, let's get back to if you take a shot of scotch, you'll get slapped upside the face wasting good scotch. Exactly, man. You got to sip it. Grim knows what's up. Okay, so back to the kit changes. So there's going to be more kit changes, more touch-ups, more reworks, new characters coming down the road. There's just a bunch of things happening. So it says we want to let you know that the kit's changing. If you've seen Geonosian Brood Alpha kit, which we haven't, we'll go to that in a second. You'll find the current version of Geospy's kit will create an infinite loop. Okay, cool. It's too much turn meter. He just gets to go over and over and over and over and over because he gets like 70% turn meter. And it's going to happen like 3 or 4 times every turn because of all the attacks. And whoopsie daisy, he gets to go nonstop. So to mitigate this short term, they're going to be nerfing his kit along with the release of the Brood Alpha. And we'll return to all ability materials. So they're going to give us our ability materials, which I'll end up spending because of ships. Anyway, back to it. It says it's not this... So the Spy's final molt or evolution, it means they're going to be doing some more touch-ups, just kind of like Basilisk Shan got more stuff once Jedi Knight Revan came out. Same deal. He's going to get more touch-ups when more characters kind of come out. The only thing that's changing is instead of him getting the 70% turn meter, it says whenever a Geonosian ally inflicts a negative status effect, he gets 70% turn meter. It now says when they inflict a negative status effect during their turn, so it can't be when they're called out of turn because they're going to be called out of turn a ton, he will get 20% turn meter. So they've cranked the turn meter down and require now that it be during their turn. So there'll be more content on that. Pretty cool. And then the last thing is kind of the developer intentions and the Geonosian Brood Alpha. I want to go over that with you guys and check it out. Personally, right off the get, anything that has a sword and a shield is like the baddest ass thing in the world, period. So this right here, the Brood Alpha, man, I don't even care what anyone says. I am totally going to trick out a Geo team and run this bad boy. I am going to go all in. Now, I'm pretty confident because of the past. We had Captain Han Solo who went to Cantina, and he was to be farmable in Cantina. And then you needed him after you farmed him out of Cantina to go and get another character, which was Rolo. I do believe that you're going to need him, that you're going to have to farm out of Cantina. This is my guess, because they haven't actually disclosed how they're going to do this, but I'm thinking Cantina, and then we're going to use him to get the Wat Tambor character that is in there. So, but they've got some questions and answers, and I like this. CG Pi answers them, and it says, why are we excited? They just excited about bringing about more attacks and sustainability. They make some changes to the Spy to avoid the infinite loop, but it gives space to design and update the Geonosian faction even further, which means they're going to do more stuff down the road. So they're not done with the Geos. This is awesome. Personally, by the way, I love Geos. Sunfac was the very first character I ever spent money on. And Geo Soldier is the very first character I ever got to 7 stars. So again, they have an affinity in my heart for these particular characters. What makes them special? Well, the Geonosian Brood Alpha has one of the most unique abilities, summoning. That's right. The newest update that they just did, TU16, gives the ability for them to now have a new unique ability that will summon another character. And he's not going to be the last character to do this. He's the first. There's going to be more characters coming down the road that will be able to summon. So that's pretty dang exciting. It says when the brute will be defeated, you can just summon another one. Now, what's really cool about this as well, and I've seen a lot of questions, is can you keep bringing him back? Because it's every 3 turns he can do a brute. If there's a vacant slot, you can do a brute, which means you could lose 4 characters and replace each character as they're dying with brutes and have 4 brutes plus your main tank. I have not seen anything that says anything to the contrary. I've very thoroughly read through all the notes and everything. It just simply says as long as there is an available vacant slot, you can use that ability to summon 3 every 3 turns. So pretty cool. Let's see. Why did we create the character? They were in need of a 5th character. What's funny is he's actually character 4 and 5 because Poggle can now be left to the wayside. He can be the leader and he starts. And if you Zeta him, when he starts, he summons a brute right off the bat. So if you have a slot available, he'll summon immediately with his Zeta that 5th slot brute. So you don't even need a 5th Geo now. You actually only need 3 plus him, and then he'll summon the 5th, and you'll have 5 right off the bat. And so they kind of talk about Pog a little bit. They said the art team did an amazing job. I totally agree. I think this is one of the coolest looking characters in the game, and I'm going to force this square peg through a round hole. I don't even care. I am going to take this team. I'm going to trick them out. They're going to get some of my best mods, and I'm going to force them to try to kill and destroy everything. Now, they do have some weaknesses and some Achilles heels, so I'll have to be a little bit careful. Anything that does mass AoEs, tons of attacks, they're a little bit susceptible to. And their damage output isn't insane. So there's that as well. Let's see, how does that play into your intention for the character? Well, they said with Geonosian Brute Alpha being the head of the squad, it makes sense for him to be able to summon other Geonosians. We want to introduce a hive mechanic. So the studio talked and stuff, and they figured out basically coordinated attacks and the difficulty of getting rid of individuality. That eventually became the hive mind as it is in the game, which is assist attacks and the health protection equalization. By the way, this is the very, very first faction ever to have the equalization of health and protection. And if you for a second think that that's not a big deal, you are sorely mistaken. Health and protection equalization is probably one of the most overpowered singular mechanics in the entire game because it keeps everybody on the team equalized. Doing burst damage is going to be nearly impossible to this team. You're going to constantly have to, because it's going to constantly, reassist. Plus there's insane amounts of attacks that they're all going to do. We're going to read all of that in here in just a second. So let's see, play style. What squads do you suggest? They said to bring full advantage of it, full geos, but I would suggest actually doing not a full geo squad, but a squad of 4, and then do the Zeta, so you can always get that tank to come out as well. And the tank, his stats are based off of the Brood Alpha. Now, they didn't state whether they're parallels or whether they're identical. If they're parallels, that means as this goes up, but they're maybe not equal. And if they're equal, then they're equal. So they have not clarified that. I'm pretty excited to figure that out. Let's see. They're awesome in PvE, so that'll be cool. I'm excited about that. It also says players will find them as a strong offensive option in territory wars. Grand Arena. That makes me super excited to see that we're going to have another offensive powerhouse, probably a B-level team, but still, nonetheless, a B-level team. This will be really fun. What's awesome is on my Scissorman account, 3 of my most powerful characters in the entire game are my 3 Geos, and I have to use them in territory wars all the time. It's horrible. Well, because they're my overpowered, so I have to use them on offense to try to win something, and it's not that good right now, but I can't wait till they get tricked out, because then I'll be able to go in here and actually use them, and everybody's going to be like, why did you, develop your Geos on your all free-to-play account? That's such a waste for ships only. And now who's laughing? All right, some questions really quick. How is your guild preparing for the new Geo territory battle? Good question, Jacob. Basically, we just know that it's going to be so overpowered that we're basically not expecting to do much more than just our very best, see where that top bar lies, and then go from there to try to expand. I know that we did Dark Side Territory Battle on the very first day, within the very first hour of it being, it was launched, and then we did Territory Battles, and we processed through it and got the full 48 stars. We got the 45 stars. That was pretty easy, and I think the developers wanted there to be more of a chase. So I think they're going to really crank this up. And if you think that the tie-in guilds are at 260 million GP and they're going to crank it up, that means this thing's going to probably need 300 to 350 million GP teams. It's going to be insane. I don't know. It's going to be absolutely nuts. John asks, when's JTR coming? I think Jedi Training Raid's coming at the very end of July, if my math is right. Let's see. The Brute goes to the ally slot, the slot that you use with the in-game allies to take the strongest characters. You don't need a vacant slot for the Brute. That's Gusy Duck. I don't know if that's true or not, because I haven't actually tested it, but the ally slot versus a vacant slot is actually different. So I have to play it out and see for sure. And then let's see. Scotty says, hey man, is it true that the Gamorrean Guard 3 Zeta leak was also a problem from the devs? Not at all. That was some stuff they provided to us, that footage that they provided to us, and I just grabbed the footage and threw the whole footage they gave me into my video so you guys would have it all, because I didn't want to chop it up and accidentally cut something you guys would want to see out. I wanted you guys to have all the footage so that way you could kind of see everything they had. Some people watch my footage, some don't. But anyway, they gave it to us, and it was a leak accidental on their part, not on my part. I saw a bunch of footage, and I just threw it in there. So they had no problem with that. Nobody was mad at me. They never once said it was my fault. That was more of I think CG Eric accidentally didn't catch that and didn't cut that. So let's see. Tips and tricks on this. So it says, any special interactions we want to highlight. It says the hive mind sustains the team by equalizing the health and protection, and it requires a different strategy to defeat. When facing Geonosians, you have to try and overwhelm the Geonosians with heavy AoE damage. So you do damage to everyone. And then it says, what will challenge the squad? You should watch out for squads that can do heavy amounts of AoE damage, like the Triumvirate under Darth Treya with punishes out of turn attacks are extremely challenging for them to beat. What should we know about the character? Think of them as like the Imperial Troopers 2.0. That's kind of what they're like, or clones. Clones attack out of turn. The Imperial Troopers attack out of turn. The Geos are going to attack out of turn. They're kind of on that same level, right, as like the clones, which they're actually probably going to be better than the clones. We'll see. And then let's see, what should we know that we may not notice at first glance? And it says, don't underestimate the power of health and protection equalization. For sure. Preach it, brother. It says it can provide massive sustainability. That's so true. In addition, the conscription ability has the powerful healing and dispel and is even useful if you have your brute already on the field. Super important. And in closing, they said, we love bringing cherished Star Wars characters into the game, but it's really exciting also to create new characters in the Star Wars universe. The art team did a phenomenal job. I have to personally agree. I think they did a phenomenal job on that. All right. So apparently on the podcast, they said that it was the ally slot, which is the 6th slot, which means you'd actually have 6 of them on the board. So interesting. Okay, so he's dark side, obviously support leader, which they always are. So leaders are always supports that swarms the enemy. And I really like the shield bash. He goes straight in, smashes them, stabs them, and then everybody attacks. So the final text says it will deal physical damage and then dispel all buffs on them on a critical hit. It's very, very cool looking shield bash. And then glaive sweep says that it will dispel all buffs on all enemies. So it dispels everyone on the other side, deals AoE damage to everybody, exposes everybody, and then removes turn meter from everybody that got debuffed, which is in theory all of them if his potency is really high. It can be resisted, of course, because it doesn't say it can't be resisted. So there's got to be some debuffs that apply. But this thing does 4. This ability that he gets to use every 3 turns does 4 things. It hits everybody, takes away their buffs on everybody, exposes everybody, and removes turn meter from everybody. So really, really cool. And of course, with his unique, you're going to see that this is calls to assist on his basic, calls to assist on his first special, and the same thing with conscription. Now, conscription, also pretty cool. He pounds on his shield, calls the brute in, so really cool. It says it dispels all debuffs on all Geo allies. So this is a cleanse for his team, cleanses everybody. This is super awesome. So he's like Rex in that sense. And he summons a Geo brute into battle in the ally slot, if the ally slot is available. If a Geo Brute is already present, then he gains critical damage up and offense up for 2 turns. Then all Geo allies gain 15% turn meter and recover 35% health and protection. Now, conscription has a way of being reduced, just so you know. So it is every 3 turns, but it could actually be faster than that. And it provides turn meter for the team, kind of like Rex, and health and protection regeneration, kind of like Hermit Yoda. So this is almost Hermit Yoda-esque of an ability. And if that tank is already present, he actually gets critical damage up and offense up for 2 turns. And then for the leadership ability, Geonosian Swarm, it is a Zeta. He has 2 Zetas, and it says that Geo allies have 15,000 health and 15,000 protection. That's 30,000 health and protection total, and plus 50% health steal. That's a ridiculous amount of health steal. Geonosian allies recover 3% protection anytime they use a basic. Now, they're called to assist like every single ability, And so they're going to constantly be regenerating that protection that they lose from those AoEs or whatever. Basic abilities of Geonosians deal 10% more damage for each buffed enemy. If let's say there's 5 buffed enemies, then that's 50% more damage. That's great. That's a really, really, really amazing buff for the team. The 2 uniques are cool. One unique is a Zeta, one unique is not. The first unique is called Queen's Will. It's a Zeta, and it says the Geonosian Brute Alpha has plus 60% tenacity. This is massive. This is really, really great. It gives him a massive boost of tenacity. So if you mod for tenacity, it's going to make it all the easier to just prevent debuffs. Although he can cleanse in a multitude of ways, so it doesn't matter as much. And then all Geo allies have Hive Mind buff while he's active. So they'll get a little buff over their head, and that can't be dispelled or prevented. And whenever another Geo ally is defeated, that reduces conscription down by 1. That's the one that has 3 cooldown. Well, anytime someone dies, conscription goes down by 1, so you can use it faster, which is how you summon the Brute. At the start of the encounter, you can summon that Brute who taunts for 1 turn. So that's very, very exciting because as long as you have the Zeta, you can do the summoning the Brute who taunts for 1 turn. And then the Hive Mind buff that everybody gets as long as he's in play, it says assist whenever they use a Geo ally uses an ability during his turn. So any of his abilities calls everybody to assist. Now they'll do 50% less damage, but then equalize all the health and protection with Hive Mind allies whenever an enemy uses an ability. And then keep in mind, he can then, with his conscription, regenerate health and protection across the board on everybody, even after equalization. So very, very cool. Unique 2 says the Geo Brute. This is the guy that's going to be the tank that gets summoned. And the unique, when you use it, it says Geo Brute, alignment, dark side, separatist, tank. So that's cool. And his basic deals physical damage to a target enemy and then taunts for a turn. That's his basic. So every time he takes a turn, he re-taunts. So he's a disruptive taunt because every single time he gets to take a turn, he'll reapply the taunt. Even if they dispel it, he'll reapply the taunt the next time he takes a turn. So very cool. The other thing is you could call him out of turn, right? Because every time your other guy takes a turn, he shoots his basic, and every time he shoots his basic, he taunts for 1 turn. He's going to be incessantly taunting, giving the team an opportunity to just crush the opponents and do what they're designed to do. He has a special and then a couple uniques. So he's basically got 2 abilities. The ability to just taunt on his basic, which is awesome. And then his other ability, which is cooldown of 4, it's called Swarm Tactics, and it deals physical damage and calls other Geo allies to assist. And there's no damage penalty on this, which means that this is going to be a powerful assist call that he has once every 4 turns. Very cool. And then he has a couple uniques. The first unique is called Reckless Retaliation. Geo Brute has plus 25% offense for every active Geo ally. That includes himself and 100% counter chance. So he's guaranteed going to be countering and getting up to 125% offense. That's nuts. And then his second unique says Final Text. This unit's stats scale with the summoner's stats. This unit can only be summoned if the ally slot is available, and this unit can't be summoned in raids, so this is not a raid team character. This unit can't be revived, but when the unit's defeated, it's not considered a defeat, so it's not going to feed a bunch of turn meter and offense boosts to a bunch of other teams that would gain that. And then whenever there are no other allied combatants, it's kind of like Hermit Yoda or any of the others. It will escape from battle because it was a summoned unit. A unit can't be revived if this summoned unit exists in their slot. And then it showcases some synergy and some things like that. Ryan, what's happening? Let's see if I can see any questions really quick. Nathaniel Morgan is over 9,000. All right. Well, I think that is about it, you guys. Bottom line, if you have any last minute questions about the program that never was that's gone officially, but isn't a big deal. Everything's the same as it was yesterday, except for they happen to just tell you guys what we've already known. Or if you have any questions on this, it looks like the wording makes it a little bit unclear. They had apparently in a podcast clarified that the ally slot is strictly that one slot, which sounds like it's going to limit the amount within that, the amount of summoning. So I could be very, very wrong about summoning multiple times. But Azrael, thank you very much for the donation. It says, keep up the great work. Be it BTI or die trying, Guildy. What's up? By the way, we are 150 people strong in the Team Instinct Guild, and we are always looking for great people that are out there. I don't think we have many slots available. I don't think that there's a whole lot. I think we've got one or two. We're always looking for one or two because there's always people retiring from the game at the highest end, as is every guild is recruiting always. I think any good guild would be. So for my Scissorman account, if you guys happen to be mid-game, in-game, and looking for kind of a fun casual guild, but something that we're doing Sith raid on, the Scissorman account would be a really great account to reach out to. Shout out to my guys there. And then if you guys are looking for something really high end, you're 4.5 million GP and above, and you're looking for really, really, very complex game play. We're talking about, super advanced stuff, and you definitely enjoy, the fight and getting into it. Team Instinct, like I said, doesn't have many slots available, but we always are looking for one or two few good men kind of thing. So if you're in that market and you're looking for something very cool, but Force Canada is my other guild. I've got Team Instinct and Force Canada, and they're kind of two different sides of a coin. One is a 260 million guild, and the other guild I play in is like 140 million. So it's kind of like middle of the road and highest end. So if you're one of those players that's really looking for that, you guys can always, pop out and reach. Let's see if there's any other questions really quick. Let's see. Stone Cold says, Warrior, what's your favorite team to use in any mode? That's a good question. My favorite team used to be Admiral Akbar with Princess Leia, with Sunfac, Stormtrooper Han, and Han Solo. That was such a fun, overpowered arena team. But now today, I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of simplicity. So probably my favorite team at this moment, if I was just to take a team and go run with it, for simplicity of just sheer chaos that's fun to control, Imperial Troopers. Imperial Troopers are extreme fun chaos to run and kill and all of that, so pretty cool. Jacob Hop asks, will we need Jedi ships up to the 7 stars for Kenobi's capital ship? I don't think so. I think we're going to need Sith ships. They're always using the opposite to get the opposing thing. Like, we're going to have to fight probably the Galactic Republic with our Sith ships. So if you don't have your Sith ships developed, you're in trouble. I am sure of that. Ryan says, when will you start uploading videos? Very good question. I am uploading a video right now, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. I have vacation. Are you guys kidding me? Vacation time. I'm so freaking excited. Coming in the middle of next month. And of course, I'm going to jam it full of fun times with my family. But I'm going to start after that really opening up and having some normalized hours and some normal days off and some AMs to throw some videos together. I got a bunch of ideas. In fact, Team Instinct has actually recently encouraged me to start sharing some of the proprietary secrets at the high end with everyone, which is something I always wanted to do. And when I first got into YouTubing, that was what I did. I always shared everything I learned with everyone because I wasn't the guy who knew everything, but I would learn a lot. And then I wanted the whole community to know. And then this whole territory wars thing came around and made it really difficult because, if you tell everyone, then you're enemies know, and you kind of want to have that edge. But at the end of the day, the highest end guilds are as bigger than all of us. They've got just as many good theory crafters, and the top 5 guilds are insanely amazing. So there's really no proprietariness anymore. Everyone knows what everyone runs. We all know the counters and creative counters. You win some, you lose some. It's just the way it works now at the highest end. So I'm pretty excited because it's really opening up lots of high-end opportunities for great counters, high-end counters, high-end teams to play and stuff. So pretty excited about that. Ryan says Imperial Troopers for the win. Yes, yes. Dark Stanley says that's the correct answer. Let's see. Any other questions? Warbringer on Discord. If anybody wants to join Force Canada, for sure. Hit Warbringer up. He is a recruiting fool. He can help you out there. For Team Instinct, it's just teaminstinct.gg. You can apply there and you can try and get in. Ewoks are fun. I love them. My newest favorite faction, though, is going to be the Geos. I hate to tell you guys, but Geo Spy can dispel all status effects and do like 100k damage. He is like the original, Darth Nihilus, and he goes stealth, and so he's hard to hit. Sunfac was like the original OG dispeller on basic. He was like the first one that just slaughtered like that. So really, really cool. And then, Geo Soldier, come on now. If you have played this game for over 2 years, I unequivocally, you have used the Geo Soldier to take a team out or two. I guarantee that. That is so good. Jura. Jura for the win. Gretchen. Wow, cool to see you on this time zone, warrior. Yeah, I know, right? Everybody in my home is gone. It's just me. Well, and American Idol. You guys got to keep it down in there. I got to always tell them, I got to keep telling the American Idol next door to like keep it down. Cause sometimes, they're like doing performances and stuff and I don't know, and giving out awards and stuff. It's crazy. I don't know, but it's over for the season. So now it's just a bunch of people practicing for next season. So no big deal. I'll make sure that they keep it down. So it's a warrior party apropos for sure. All right. Well, we're 40 minutes in. I'm happy to end it now or to go for another 20 minutes and chat with you guys. If you happen to have any other questions about the new Geos, the reworks, any information on what's possibly upcoming in the game, or any information on the Game Changers program that you'd like clarification on, so you don't have to like hit me up in the comment section, now is the opportunity to hit me up with the questions. Ryan's all 20 more minutes. I would love to chat with you guys for a few more minutes and answer any questions that you guys have. Let's see what's going on in the world of the forums. Let's see. Did you guys hear that there's some legacy Android devices going away? If you have a device from 8 years ago, you're screwed. I guess get a new device. Changes to Gear 12 inflow. Not sure what to think about this. We'll go over this in just a question. Let's see. Thanks for sharing your drink with us, Warrior. I should go back to work. Apropos, you should. Stone Cold, will Newt Gunray still be a good lead for Geos? No. Yes and no. Yes, a good character because his unique is great, right? His unique is awesome, but I think that there's going to be more Geos coming down the road. Wampatine versus Brood Alpha. I think the Wampatine. I think Brood Alpha could win that for sure. I really do, with their regeneration and all of the attacks. The only thing that the Geos are missing is debuffs. I really haven't seen a bunch of stun, stagger, those kinds of things, like the debuffs to kind of placate an individual. So Wampatine actually would probably win with that just because of the days. The AoE days would shut it down. How did you become a game changer? And we want story time. Questions, impromptu story time. Oh my gosh, you guys, I got to come up with a story. Shoot, I'll think about a story because, I love doing story time. That's always fun. I have so many stories. The ladies at work say, congratulations, you're the most interesting man in the world. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's just my life. It's just things. It's just stuff. It's just things that happen, right? And some people just know how to tell their life a little better than others. It's nothing unique, I don't think, but it is kind of what it is. Things happen in life, and I just happen to be a storyteller. It's pretty fun. Mark White, thanks for the donation. He says, because you helped me so much over the last 2 years. I appreciate your donation. That's very kind of you. Story time would be good. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do story time. Someone really quick, Scotty's asking when Malik's going to return. I honestly don't know when Malik's going to return. What kind of story do we want? Do we want a funny story? Do we want a serious story? Do we want like a cool, like I met somebody story? I have so many. I mean, I met Charlie Sheen in a really terrible situation. I've met a bunch of UFC fighters. Of course, that's not uncommon. I used to go to fights every 3 months in Vegas. I could think of a funny story. I've got, high school stories, children's stories, adult stories. Ryan's asking how I became a game changer. We won't call that the story time story. We'll just go over that, and then I'll try and find. By the way, I love Sure Shot to death, but I didn't know what story he was gonna do the last time, and we're like talking, and I'm like playing, and he's like doing story time, and he's like, and then my friend got drug under a car for 11 city blocks, and he almost died, and he had traumatic brain injury. I'm like sitting over there like, oh no, stop it, oh god dang it, oh my gosh, yeah, I couldn't even believe it, man. I was like so crazy. All right, a couple of high school stories, funny. All right, so how I became a game changer, and I'll think on the story thing here in a minute. Adult stories, risque. No, we're not going that route. That would be too much. This is PG-13, right? So I became a game changer simply. So the original story, and I gotta say it because I'll never catch him now, but I was a bigger deal than Arnold T101 for like 2 months. When I came onto the scene, the Arnold T101 only had 1,000 subscribers. He was brand new, and his videos were atrocious. I love the guy. He's a good friend of mine, and his videos now are you know what I mean? He spends time on his editing, 4 to 6 hours. You can tell it is crisp. It is clean. His editing looks phenomenal. But back then that was not the case. He had 1,000 subs. He wasn't well spoken. His quality was crap. Although I have to say, my YouTube never got better. Come on, I've never had time to do YouTube really. He's really dug a ton of time into it, but my quality was always crap. But so I started, just putting information out, and all of a sudden, boom, I grew. I went from nothing to 2,000 subs when we went to the very first EA program. And I basically, everybody was the people who were in Game Changers when they first launched it. There was like 4 of them, and they were talking on the forums, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to invite you to the EA thing. And I was like, crap, I want to do this. Well, it was like 2 months prior, and I started up a channel, and all of a sudden I was like, hey man, what about me? I was talking to Jesse Anderson, and at the time he works for EA, and at the time he was running the program, and he was like, well, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I'm doing, YouTube and look. And he was like, well, are you as big as Arnold? And I was like, I surpassed Arnold. Arnold's been around for like 4 months, and I'm 1 month in, and I'm almost 2,000 subs. And he looked, and sure as day, I surpassed Arnold. When I started, he was at 1,000. I was at none. Within 2 months, I was at 2,000. He was at 1,500. I beat Arnold by 500 subs in the first 2 months of me doing this. And then I stayed ahead of him for the first 8 months. We paced each other. And then that December of 2016, I didn't do any YouTube at all. And he passed me, and he has never looked back. That dude has outpaced my butt so hard. Just boom, boom, boom. He's insane. He hit 100,000 back in March. He's making 6 figures. The guy's doing insanely amazing. So for a moment, I had him for like, I don't know, a few months. It's too bad. Oh, well, no big deal. This is a hobby for me. It's his full-time job. But basically I just tenacity. I went after Jesse and said, hey man, I'm a bigger deal than this Arnold T101 guy. And I probably mispronounced his name back then. I was probably like Analt, like some of the other YouTubers call him Analt. I'm like, Analt? What the? Analt? What? No, it's Arnold. Anyway, so that's kind of how we got into it. And then that very first trip, I got to know him, and I got to know all the other YouTubers like Trevor and Evan, and just a bunch of guys, really, really, really cool guys. So Scotty says, tell everyone about the time with the other Game Changers at Capital Game, the mischief you guys got into. I'm not really sure. Thanks for the donation, by the way, Scotty. I'm not sure we got into a bunch of mischief, but I can tell you that we actually, no, we did get into we got into a lot of mischief while we were together, actually, down there. It happened. One trip we were down there with Jesse Anderson. He was in charge of us, and it was an EA sponsored event, and we were at it, and we were up on this big building, and we were up the top, and they had this, thing that we could go outside and hang out and drinks and food and all this. It was really cool. And they had outside on these tables every EA game they made that year, and they had them by the case. Like not just one case, but like 100 cases. And there was not that many Game Changers there. And we went out there and we were grab one of that game and one of that game and maybe one of that game. I want to play that maybe. Let me grab that. I might play that. And then, we walked over, sat down. We had 5 games, 6 games in our stacks. And we started drinking and eating a little bit of stuff. And we looked around and all the other Game Changers, are just imagine this is a huge box of games. And they're like, and I was like, what is going on? These guys are grabbing cases of games. We're not. And everybody looks around and they're like, we should do that too. And before you know it, it was like the hive mentality. Everybody's doing it. So all of a sudden we all got to do it. Next thing you know, we all have our hands full of cases of games and we're walking down the street. We're like, what the hell are we doing? We ended up, a bunch of us ended up being like, what are we doing? So we returned all of it because what are we gonna do? I thought it through because I think things through, and I'm halfway through. I've got all these cases, and I'm like, dude, I have to fly home. I'm not packing any of this. I'm not paying for any of this to go onto a plane. So if it doesn't fit in my bag, it ain't going home. And my bag is full already with a bunch of swag like hats and, backpacks, free backpacks, and just swag that they give you on these trips. And I was like, that sucks. So, I ended up putting all my games back and whatever. But the word got out because this is crazy. So EA had a guy that they brought on board that they called a game changer, but he wasn't a game changer. Mage Ducky, I am calling you out right now. This is freaking hilarious. Mage Ducky got hired by Capital Games. He was a Capital Games employee, and he was hanging out with us. Now, this guy is the guy that's you're in school and it's 10th grade and everybody just wants to go to summertime and you're 16 or whatever and you just want to get out of there, and 2 days before school's about to get out at 3 p.m. he's like, teacher, can't we have homework for the summer? Can we do some sort of homework for the summer? Can you make it mandatory? Because I hate my life. And that's the kind of guy that he is. I mean, he totally listened into our conversation up there where we grabbed a bunch of games. And like I said, all of us were like, okay, this is stupid. Put the games back, except for one of the cases. And we figured we could do something fun with that case. We were going to, do something fun, give them away. And we did. We actually made a video about it. It's on Arnold's channel. It's one of my favorite videos in the world. Dudes, guys and gals, if you have not seen this, go to Arnold's channel and watch it. It is the best flippin' video. I had so much fun that day. We walked down Hollywood Boulevard just like they do on the late night TV shows. We went down Hollywood Boulevard and we gave out games for people that did Chewie impressions. I'm not even kidding you. They're like, anyway, my favorite Chewie impression, this dude from Botswana was there, and we're like, do your Chewie impression. He goes, I'm Chewie. That was his impression. I'm Chewie, what? Anyway, he got a game because he made an attempt, but they plant, he's a damn narc. They plant Mage Ducky into our group and tell us that he's a game changer. So that way we accept him in, and he was socially awkward and nice guy. I mean, he was a nice kid and all, but he was kind of socially awkward and stuff. But that day we decided, let's put it all back. Let's just grab a couple cases and let's go down on Hollywood Boulevard and let's give these games away and make a video of it, which, by the way, we did. And it's a fun video, you guys all. I promise you, you watch that video, you'll walk away a happier human being. It is so funny to date. It's my favorite Arnold T101 video in history. I'm not even kidding. I'm not trying to promote. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it, you've literally left out a portion of your life that you shouldn't leave out. So he goes to EA's corporation head honchos that are at this event that they're throwing and tattles on us. I'm not even kidding. He tattles on us. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, what are you, 4? And they come over and they're like, well, so what? We hear that you guys are going to be taking these and selling them or, giving them away or, we don't know. And I'm not sure, but, this is pretty serious. And we're like, dudes, we put it all back. We're fine. And they're like, okay, well, you go. Well, then they call Jesse, our handler, right? The guy that's supposed to be taking care of us on this trip, and tells him, so he catches us. We're trying to scoot. We're trying to catch the bus just to get the hell out of there. Because we're just like, we got to go, man. We got to go. All the game changers, we're like, we got to get out of here. So we're going through the parking lot. We're almost to the bus to get the hell out of there. And here comes Jesse. Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. Calling us, on the phone, don't go anywhere. Hold on. Don't get on those buses. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we stop. He comes over and he's like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? I'm hearing things that you guys are stealing a bunch of games. I'm like, well, first off, stop. We're not stealing anything. You guys had it out there and you were letting people take cases of games away, okay? What do you think they're going to do with 200 games? Come on. Put 2 and 2 together. You let everyone do that. We all had a conscience and put all of it but a case back, and we're going to make a video out of it, and it's going to be fun on Hollywood Boulevard. It's going to be a good time. And this was actually when McMole was still a game changer. No kidding. You got to watch the video because McMole is pretty funny in that video as well. So anyway, he stops us, talks to us. We tell him our intentions and he's like, my God, I hope that's your intention. You better have a funny video after this because I'm catching heat and, I'm looking out for you guys and I'm supposed to be the guy that, everybody pays attention and stuff to. And he was a brand new game changer for sure back in the day. But it was so hilarious. So we found out that who it was. I figured out who it was. That it was Mage Ducky. Well, anyway, the next day, okay, it's a done deal. It's dead. We filmed a video giving away all of the games. It's over. We go back to the EA event the next day, and as we're walking, Mage Ducky is in the far back with an EA employee that we're all walking together. And I'm behind all the other game changers and in front of Mage Ducky, and I can hear him talking to the EA lady, the liaison for EA, about how we were trying to steal games and how he saved the day and all of this. And I was just blown away. I'm like, give it a flippin' rest, yo. You're narc times 2, man. You're you didn't get him in trouble the first time, so you're going to keep trying until you get him in trouble. Anyway, I figured out who he was. The funniest thing was we went on a trip to Capital Games a few weeks or a month later or something, because that was for EA. And then we went on another trip to Capital Games, and Capital Games came to us and we talked and we did this information. I think it was on the Sith Triumvirate raid when they were going to launch that. So they had some players there and they had us there and they were showing us the Triumvirate raid and trying to explain the mechanics to us without us playing at all. They were just okay, so this is how it's going to work. And they're trying to explain it. Everyone's confused. And we're all right, trying to take copious notes. And then my plane the next day didn't take off until 4. and everybody else's plane took off at like, 9, 10 a.m. So the next morning, everybody takes off from the hotel and goes home. Well, I called them, Capital Games, and I say, yo, can I come hang out at the studio for the morning time? Just for the morning, because my plane doesn't leave until the evening. And the studio's awesome, by the way. Everyone that works there is really cool. I know they catch a lot of flack for a lot of stuff, but trust me, I've met so many people that work there, and they're so amazing, and they're so, giving and selfless, and their work ethic is unparalleled. The amount of hours they put in, 80 to 100 hours a week, is insanity, and they'll do that for the community. They do actually care about the health of the game, and love you guys as far as a community. I know I disagree with their marketing. I wish they would listen to me a little bit when it comes to marketing. In fact, on that very trip, this is a Warrior fun fact. You guys listen in on this. That particular trip, I went in there and I was the only one of the Game Changers there that day because everyone went home. And so I was there after that trip, and I went into there and I was up there talking to them like, dudes, why don't you listen to me? If you made a pack on Omegas and Mark IIIs, you guys would make a killing. You guys have got to listen to me. I'm a whale. I am what you're shooting for. Why don't you listen to me? And they left to go try and prove me wrong. A couple of the Intel guys left to go try and pull data to prove to me that I'm wrong. Little do you know, they looked up all the data, and guess who was wrong? That's right. They admitted it, and they said, we're going to build an ability pack and bring it into the game because of you, and we think it's going to do well. And sure as day, this has been a cash cow for them, all because of my suggestion. But whales love those packs, and it was a suggestion I had made that they took light on. I just wish they would take more suggestions, because I've got great suggestions that the community wants to pay for and that they would make money on. I've got great ideas. Well, anyway, that's for another day. But I went to their place. I went in. I was upstairs talking to them about the ability packs, the packs. I'm like, dude, seriously, pack it up. You give Omegas, enough to do an ability minimum, one ability, maybe two, and then do a bunch of Mark IIIs, because there's never enough Mark IIIs, and you guys are going to make a killing. And so those guys go run off, right, to go do their analysis and prove me wrong. And guess who walks in to the studio? That's right, Mage Ducky. He walks in, his face turns red. He loses all of the color in his face, and he looks at me and he goes, "You can't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody." I'm like, oh, I am so telling everybody. What are you doing here? And he's like, I work here. And I'm like, how long have you worked here? And he told me a start date. And I'm like, you mother trucker. That was before the EA event. He was a plant. He was a damn plant from Capital Games. They already hired him. They stuck him in, told us he was a game changer, so they would have inside eyes on us to keep us in line. What the heck? I guess we kind of deserved it a little bit, because we did grab a bunch of games, but I gotta be honest, everybody else was doing it, and we at least made a fun giveaway video out of it. Again, one last thing. If you guys have not seen the Hollywood video, it's like Hollywood something Hollywood. I helped make the actual thumbnail. In fact, I taught Arnold how to make thumbnails that day. He was super stoked. That was way before his time. And now, of course, he's way better than me on all that editing stuff. Arnold's videos are 1 billion times better edited than mine. But I made that thumbnail with him. I helped him make that thumbnail. That's so freaking hilarious. And then we put that video out. And that video to date is my favorite Arnold T101 video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I am telling you right now, I'm going to leave you guys. I am going to go put that movie on, put that show on, and watch the Hollywood show. It is fun. It has got a bunch of fun game changers. If you don't know who they are, make sure you check out their channels and check them out. I appreciate you guys stopping by and having story time with me at the end. I love freaking telling stories. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys. Thanks for coming on. If you have any other questions, this video will go live as they always do. Thanks for spending your Friday night with me. And as always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.